The sun was setting over the Shadowlands, casting a crimson glow over the barren hills and dark forests. A lone rider making her way through a desolate landscape, her horse weary and her sword stained with blood. She was Thalmina, a mercenary from the civilized lands, who had ventured into the Shadowlands in search of treasure and glory. She had heard of tales of ancient ruins and forgotten tombs, where the secrets of old races and gods of darkness lay hidden. She had hoped to find some of the legendary jewels or weapon that were said to have been buried there, but instead she found only death and horror. She had joined a band of adventurers led by a cunning rogue named Zalor, who claimed to have a map to one of the lost cities of the Shadowlands. They had crossed the border avoiding patrols of the king's soldiers, who guarded the frontier against raids and savage tribes that dwelled within the Shadowlands. They had traveled for days facing the perils of the wilderness, such as wild beasts, poisonous plants, and treacherous terrain. They had also encountered some of the natives who attacked them with spears and arrows, or tried to lure them into traps and ambushes. Thalmina had fought bravely, using her skills and strength to survive. She had killed many foes, but she had also seen many of her comrades fall. She had grown to distrust and despise Zalor, who seemed to care only for his own profit, and often sacrificed his men to save himself. Finally, they had reached the site of the ancient city, which was marked by a towering arch of black stone, carved with strange symbols and images. Zalor had led them through the arch into the valley that was surrounded by high walls of rock. There they had seen the ruins of the city, which looked like a nightmare vision of hell. The buildings were twisted and warped, as if they had been melted by some infernal fire. The streets were littered with skulls and bones, and the air was filled with a foul stench. Zalor had said that the city was once the capital of a powerful empire, ruled by a race of sorcerers who had mastered the dark arts. He said that they had defied the gods and that they had been punished by a cataclysm that destroyed their civilization. He said that the city was still haunted by spirits of the dead and by demons that they had summoned. He said that they had to be careful and they had to stick together. But Zalor had lied. He had not come to the city to explore or to loot, but to fulfill a dark purpose. He had been the servant of the Lord of the Shadowlands, a mysterious evil being who dwelt in the heart of the city, in a black tower that rose above the ruins. Zalor had brought the adventurers as a sacrifice to appease his master and to gain his favor. He had betrayed them, leading them into a trap where they had been attacked by hordes of undead and demonic creatures. He had escaped, leaving them to their fate, and made his way to the tower, where he hoped to meet his lord and receive his reward. But Zalor had been fooled. His lord was not a benevolent or grateful master, but a cruel and ruthless tyrant. He had not welcomed Zalor, but had slain him, taking his soul and his body as his own. He had then used his dark magic to send a message to Thalmina, who was the only survivor of the massacre. He had taunted her, telling her that she was doomed and that she would soon join her friends in death. He had challenged her, saying that if she had the courage she could come to the tower and face him. He had tempted her, saying that if she could defeat him, she could have all the treasures of the city and more. Thalmina heard the voice in her head and felt a surge of rage and hatred. She had sworn to avenge her comrades and to kill the Lord of the Shadowlands. She had also felt a spark of curiosity and greed, wondering what secrets and riches lay in the tower. She had decided to accept the challenge and to confront her enemy. She had mounted her horse and ridden towards the tower, cutting her way through hordes of monsters that tried to stop her. She had reached the base of the tower and dismounted. She had drawn her sword. She had entered the tower, ready to face her final battle.